Welcome back, Oxygen Not Included. This is the finale for Season 2, whenever I manage to get this out, because it's a very, very long time-lapse going to be put together, and it could actually take days. We'll see what happens. But wanted to actually start things off in this particular video, going over all the things, basically the starting point. This is where we're going to start, and it's going to take us through to plus 1,000 cycles. So we're going to actually see what happens when we leave it alone, mostly leave it alone, I'll go over that in a second, up until the point where it reaches 1,340 cycles. So this is pretty exciting stuff. We're going to be checking in. I have a couple of save points. I just saved just in case the game hadn't ended up crashing. I lost all my progress. And I just made a couple of save points. Well, now those are checkpoints for us to check in and see what's happening at that particular point in the time lapse. So first off, a couple of things before we get started. Within the first couple hundred cycles, I realized very quickly that I should have poked a hole in this, because the dupes are going to be throwing up all over the place, and this thing would have filled up, and they would have died within the food would have rotten, stifled, and then that'd have been the end. So what I did was I basically poked a hole in it right here, and that's pretty much it. Down here, I ended up grinding away at this. I think I took it down to right about there or so, because as you can see, surface tension in water was being really dumb. And so I ended up chopping away at this in order to basically clear it so it doesn't keep going over this. There are more changes that we'll talk about soon, but that's pretty much how we get started. Oh yeah, also someone manages to get stuck in here, and I just told them to dig right here, and they end up getting out somehow. I don't know. Dupes do really dumb things. So this is where we're at. Everything is functioning. The dupes wake up, they jump on their bikes. We have 28 of them. They jump on their bikes, they start generating power, and then once the batteries get full, they run to another spot. This is set to 9, this is set to 5, I believe. Yeah, but the majority of the bikes are set to, yeah, over 5. So they all have a priority over anything else they happen to, pick up or want to do. So that's good. We want to generate power because we have things like all of these fertilizer makers and everything, and the fertilizer is super important, as you can see right here. We have 17,958. We run out of fertilizer, we run out of food. We run out of food, we die. So we want to make sure the fertilizer makers are constantly going. The algae, biodistilleries, it's not really that big of a deal, to be honest, and I think I just left it as is and just let them kind of do their own thing. But yeah, these things are all set to 9, so these are basically the highest priority. Food, right? The highest priority, of course, that's going to be the highest priority, so that's what it is. So let's go ahead and get started. Here we are, almost 200 cycles later, and you can see that all of the food is stifled, low atmospheric pressure. I have the hole that I punched in right here. I did not interfere with this at all. The pump is going. I believe that it was just basically a matter of that pump is on a different circuit, and this pump is continually going, continually sucking air out, and this is not providing because it doesn't constantly have power. So if you have something that always has power, constantly pulling oxygen out or pulling gas out, while the other one is not putting enough gas in, then of course you're going to have an imbalance. The imbalance is going to lean towards gas pressure, a low gas pressure. You can see right now, 26.6 gram carbon dioxide is basically nothing. Even up here, let's see, hydrogen, barely, yeah, it's obviously all of it's unbreathable. Polluted oxygen, 80.3 grams. Just for comparison, you can see over here, 303 grams. This is low concentration. Over here, let's see, low concentration again, trying to find a good high concentration so you get a number to attach to that here. Everything's low. Let's see, unbreathable, hydrogen, everywhere. Low concentration. Yeah, so I don't even have a good example of high concentration I can show you guys. Here we go. Sufficient. 866. So there you go. There's your comparison there. So in this, a little under 200, we've noticed the water has dropped down here. You see the part where I chipped away here, and the water has sort of started to level. Nothing's broken here. Everything's holding up pretty well. A little bit of actually a little bit of damage here. I didn't notice that before. I actually don't know what the fate of this is, like it matters, but so far everything is looking pretty good, albeit a little bit rough, especially around the food area. This is still open, so we're still getting a feed of steam, water, all the way, etc., all the way down. Same here, steam to water. Nice long drip all the way down to this. This drips down to here, and it pours down into this. So this is going to continue to get more and more full of water. And unfortunately, because right now there's no power, the guys are running on it. They're keeping it running, but it does shut down quite often because they can't reach it for whatever reason. Let's see. If we go up here, take another look. Let's go ahead and take a look at the up here at the hydrogen generator, because that's pretty important as well, because this is actually what I believe that whole circuit is run off of. Let me see. What is this circuit? Yeah, this is running off of, it's running off of this circuit here. So it's basically, yeah, I mean, it's like all these batteries are just running, yeah, it's pretty much just running this and this. That's it. All these batteries just running these two things. So it's no wonder that these things are running so often and so consistently, because, you know, well, once they can get on all the bikes, right? They get on all the bikes, they go pedaling, and then these things are all full. It probably runs these things for days. Whereas on the flip side, and this is a circuit error on my part. I should have thought of this. This circuit's running a ton of things off the same number of batteries. So I have you know, a few more bikes, but still, that doesn't mean that they're going to balance it correctly and be like, hey, there's a lot more important stuff on the circuit. We should probably go ahead and pedal down there first. No, they don't do that on their own. So that's the update for 514. Nothing too interesting yet, but it does not look good. Doesn't look good. Let's see what happens as time goes on. I almost forgot to mention, we lost 6 people. They're probably, well, at least it tells us what happened. They're probably all suffocated to death, honestly, because the game tries to calculate. Let's go get this going, get the air going. There we go. The game tries to calculate, you know, their pathing, and then if something shifts or moves, like if carbon dioxide occupies a space and they risk going too far, they can't make it back. So that's what I've noticed with these guys, you know, suffocating to death. I'm pretty sure they've all, oh, well, I guess maybe he came down here. I don't know. I don't know what happened to this guy then. So Kink has suffered, suffocated to death. Doc Rock has suffocated to death. They're actually all down here. That's really odd. I think that's, Property has suffocated to death. Huh. I mean, their bodies are not here, but I wonder if this is the game's way of Falcon. Well, he's gone, but he has suffocated to death. They're probably all suffocated to death. But I wanted to address it because I felt I had loaded up the next save so I could show you guys the next stage. Yeah, they're all part of Dark Rock, Vern, Kink. Oh, Vern died. Oh wait, didn't we kill him off? There's Kink. Yeah, so looks like some of their bodies are actually Falcon, Rip Inferno, Rebel Spy. I feel like some of their bodies are actually just missing, it seems. Huh, that's really interesting. Well, now let's go and see what happens. Welcome to 705. So we see that there's some trouble, but before there was trouble because there was stifling everywhere because of low atmospheric pressure. Now the room has completely filled up with hydrogen, and this is something that during the time lapse I could not go and look at because I would ruin the placement of the camera, and therefore the entire time lapse would be ruined, right? Well, the continuity of it and the framing and whatnot. So I decided to just wait and revisit the save and go and see what happened. As you can see, it's full. It's completely full. The pump has got power, but it's not pumping. So this is something, again, I could not address. It's got power right here. And these batteries will probably never run out because the only thing it's running is this gas filter, which is not using anything. And this isn't doing anything, so it's probably going to sit there forever. And let's see. Let's just look at the line here. Okay, good. That's good. Let's look at this here. All right, this is good. This is fine. I bet this is what did it right here. So yeah, boy, I actually thought that there was something that was occurring out of the frame up here. That is not the case. What's happening is, it's like that's moving up. Yeah, see, that's moving up still. Because the oxygen can't get through the filter, right? This is backed up, and these things are dead. It's funny, this is now like the opposite problem. Now we're before we were sucking up all the gas and there was nothing there. We were borderline creating a vacuum in here where the plants were growing, and now we have the opposite. We have a massive hydrogen buildup, which tells me that maybe what I should have done, remember all this stuff made sense why we were actually living here, but if we were to like try to perfect the time lapse or something, then maybe what we should have done is gone ahead and split this, where you have a hydrogen going straight up the top and filter out, you know, the garbage stuff later. So before, of course, the oxygen. But once you have, you know, we have two dependencies. We have the gas, we have the filtered, and then we have the throughput. And those two dependencies, if one fails and the other one fails as well, because it gets backed up. And so now this whole room is full of hydrogen. Now, you may have noticed that we're at 947,000 kilocalories because we have 947 bars. The bars are sitting on the ground, unrefrigerated, in a perfectly sterile atmosphere, 100%. The room is full of hydrogen. There's no breathing here at all, right? The temperature happens to be pretty good. A stable 68 to 70 degrees, which is fine for these plants. The only ones that are in jeopardy are down here, the toasty surroundings, because they're just a little above, right? Let's see, oxygen is 79 degrees. Okay, a bit of a ways above, right? And so you can see that there is now stability in here. The blossoms don't give a shit if it's hydrogen, apparently. And so now this food that's sitting on the ground is fresh, 100%, and will be that way for probably hundreds of cycles. I say probably, knowing the outcome. You guys will see. But first, we have a couple extra deaths. So we already know Kink. We already know, see the Vern suffocated, Tyrog, Purple G. Ah, here we go. There's a new one. Purple G died right here. He starved to death. That's interesting. Oh, he was barricaded in. Wow. So this is the result of, I mean, this is sand, right? So this is the result of something condensing at a certain temperature. Pardon the trash man outside. So there is a conversion that took place here. I'm guessing that something got extra hot in here. Let's see, what is the heat here? It's 103 degrees. Let's see, oxygen. Oxygen here is 96 points. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Something converted from probably shit water to sand somehow. And I don't understand. I don't know how that could have happened, but it could have happened at a worse spot. Purple G, unfortunately, has starved to death on the other side of this because he couldn't figure out how to move sand. Let's see. Doc Rock. We already know Doc Rock property. Falcon, suffocated to death. Yep. Vaughn has suffocated to death. It says up here, probably, I guess, maybe in here, and he was within reach. They were able to zap and pull him out. He probably died like right here, because you can't breathe up here. It's unbreathable. So, and none of these guys, there was really nowhere for these guys to go and hide, because there was no oxygen anywhere. There's like nothing breathable. This whole area is black, so, or red rather. So that's what happened to those. That's the death update for them. I'm pretty sure Vaughn probably has a tombstone over here. Let's see, probably like right, yeah, there's Vaughn. So yeah, he was within reach. He died within reach. He died while waving over the sandcastle that barricaded him inside of that room. If I had removed this tile, which why would I have the foresight to do that, right? Then nobody would have got trapped out here. But random sand ball just appears there. Everything else is actually looking pretty good. Let's check the water levels down here. Well, not bad. Right? They're still, they're not even for whatever reason, because it's water tension. Yes, here's the other major change I did. I actually went through and I intervened a little bit because I wanted to see how long they would go for, because they were actually not able to get down here because the water tension had built up so much that it was actually flooding this room. And so I opened this door up, curtains stay open, right? And I ran a ladder up, and I didn't stop here. I just ran the ladder all the way up. And you guys probably saw that in the time lapse, maybe. It probably just appeared, it was going by so quickly. But other than that, our puffs are gone. I don't know what happened to the puffs. I have no idea. Like they should have just continued. They have plenty of polluted gas to sift through, but for some reason they just died, I guess. And so the hatches have nothing to eat. And I actually don't know if this is something that happened this or the last save, but just interesting, just very, very interesting. This area is getting flooded, of course. I guess again, I didn't have the foresight to poke a hole in everything, every flat surface. but yeah, it doesn't matter because this whole area up here is neutered. There's no reason to use it because there's no hydrogen going to it because this area is clogged. So for the next 500 cycles or 600 cycles, this area is going to just continue to build up hydrogen. Right now at a 1200 grams, 1200 again, so it's pretty dense. This is a significant amount of hydrogen. I could power this whole base for like hundreds of cycles, I feel like. Oh man, it's crazy. All right, let's go ahead and fast forward. Welcome to 1129. This is a significant, it's 430 or so, 400 plus jump from the last one, and we're only 211 away from the final save. And one thing I want you guys to notice is that there are no frames. This is paused. When the game is paused, typically I have plenty of frames, right? Usually I'm able to kind of float around, right? I think I know why. And this might contribute to, we should remember this going forward, okay? It's because there are 3,767 bristleberries, and probably 3,000 of those are sitting on the ground right here in the greenhouse, in a perfectly preserved state, waiting to be consumed. There are stacks, look at that, times 10, times 10, times 10, times 10. So even the stacks, it stacks up to 10. They probably did that for performance reasons. And even with that, like this is 5 stacks right here, right? Well, almost 5 stacks. It's basically 5 stacks. And so there are 5 bristleberries, like icons or whatever, right? Little you know, pieces that show, you know, representations of their existence here in this one tiny little square. There are 5 of them right there, times however many this is. That's insanity. That's insane. And so the frames pay for it. I am 100% certain that's what it is. And I guess I could probably test this theory out. Yeah, I could. Well, maybe. I could take some really hot air and just like pump it through here, like really hot air, and just see if let it just ignite all this stuff. Because I don't think I can actually delete it, or maybe I could actually just paint over it. I'm not quite sure. But let's do some other updates. We've lost some more people. We're down to 8 now, right? We know about Kink. Let's see. Can I go Vern, right? Tyrog, Purple G, right? These are repeated, of course, because I'm loading saves. I'm kind of going through here. Somebody suffocated to death right here. That sucks. Probably suffered to death too. Bojo, not sure exactly where he would have died, but that's pretty much it. Blem, suffocated to death here. It's crazy. Yeah, they're just suffocated to death all over the place. They just don't, I don't know, they change their mind about pathing or something halfway through, and then they end up just not being able to make it to whatever the destination was. Laura has suffocated to death. Cliff has suffocated to death all the way up here at the top. Ace has been also all the way to the top. Property is gone, of course. Falcon, we know. I obviously, we know I'm dead. And Zella suffocated to death. And then Inko Genie suffocated us. Inko Genie made it pretty far. I tried to kill him early on accident. It just didn't work out. So that's what's happening right here with the greenhouse. It is obviously unbreathable. Temperature-wise, they're perfectly fine, though. 68 degrees is holding steady. This is crazy. But they require fertilizer. So what's going on with the fertilizer count? Let's look at organic. Fertilizer count 4,000 is getting pretty low. And it's probably because simply there's not enough people to ride all the bikes. That's all it is. It's simple. There's not enough people to ride all the bikes, therefore they're not able to keep up with the power demands down here. And so what happens is, of course, the fertilizer count suffers. Notice we have significantly more water. Over the past several hundred cycles, we've gained a lot more water. We're not pumping it out because of course, the lack of power. You can see the water build up here. This is exactly why I built the second ladder to go all the way up initially. I didn't even waste time just stopping here because I knew the exact same thing would happen eventually. And that is it. Like they probably will not walk through this because they feel it's too high or whatever. This is broken permanently. And the reason why these things break and there's so much permanence to it is because or well, it's seemingly permanent, right? Is because they're so busy keeping up with the power demands, they don't have time to do anything else. And so if something breaks, it pretty much stays broken indefinitely. That coal generator was bogged down like hundreds and hundreds of cycles ago. It's not even a problem right now. Going up to the top, nothing's really changed in terms of like the overall world view, right? Like I initially thought at the end of last season we'd get a lot of erosion, and while we do have erosion bits here and there, especially over here, we're probably significant, made significant in the time lapse, which I haven't actually watched yet. I'm just basically doing intermittent updates here, but you can probably see it there. And then, of course, lack of power everywhere. These guys can't even sleep in their own beds. This room is probably completely unbreathable. Yeah, they're not going to be able to sit in here and sleep. So they're probably just sleeping on the ground at random, just wherever they can. And it's not the best environment. It's definitely not the best environment. Although I do love that it says negative 2,147,484. I actually thought this was a bug and it wasn't going to move. And I was correct. I checked on this periodically throughout the time lapse, and it never moved. Even if they would go through and consume several bars, the bar count would go down. So the berry count would go down, but the actual calorie counter is broken, 100% broken. But sterile environment, food will last forever. Let's go ahead and actually give it a shot and see if I can't just if I can't paint over it or something with let's see, maybe I could paint over it with dirt and that'll get rid of it. Let's see if this works. No? Oh, you know what? It's because it's paused. Hey, look at that. The frames are back. So there we go. Let's do this one here. There we go. So now look, that's it. So note to self, when we start the next one, keep shit clean. Keep it clean, because if we don't keep it clean, then we're going to lose our frames. Obviously, as the game's running, we're still low on frames, but it's actually not bad. That's actually a lot better than it was before. So we have to keep things clean. Absolutely have to keep things clean. Otherwise, my frames. Let's go and fast forward. Here we are at the end of our time lapse, going into cycle 1340. We'll let that go. Notice that the kilocalorie count just popped up to negative 2 million because it's broken. Notice our frames are still garbage. We're gonna actually go and pause so we get some of those frames back at least. Yeah, just a few of them, just a few frames, please. And we could take another look here just to see where we're at. in regards to everything. We have 6 people. We lost, did we lose additional 2? Yeah, I think so. We lost additional 2. I'm not even, let's just say they suffocated to death, all right? The list of people that are still alive, though: Jaffafa, Papawapa, Expendable, Ayana, Scynths, and Animuses. They made it to the end. We're no longer going to continue the time lapse because it's a 56-hour time lapse, and I kind of need my computer to do other things. And also, they have 4,593 bars to go through, which at this rate, I believe it's like about 200 or so. They eat like 1,000 kilocalories a day, so we're really looking at they'll probably reach cycle 2,000 before they start running out of food. Now, there are a couple here they're still tending to, right? There's a couple, obviously, they still tend to. But if we go down here, these things are almost always down. And again, this goes back to the fact that there's not enough bodies to go around to generate all the power needed to run the base, and that's pretty much it. Here we could see the water has risen to crazy levels. If we allow this to go on for another 1,000 cycles, most of the base would actually be flooded. It would pour off into here, and probably, actually, you know, it'd probably pour off into here. And at some point get clogged, because it's just like it always gets clogged, and probably start building up into here for sure. Going over here, this looks pretty much almost the same, I believe, just at a glance. And up here, yeah, this whole area is just screwed. Flooding everywhere. It's a whole puddle of puke there. God, anymore, and it would actually... It's a good thing they vacated this. Otherwise... Oh, someone's sleeping in it. Jeff Faff, I don't give a fuck. Wow. There's still some blossoms that are holding up, man. The blossoms are really, really resilient. Just unbelievably resilient. And of course, they could never go and get Purple G's body. Our graveyard should be just about full. Yep, it's full. Just like I thought. Actually, I'm pretty short on tombstones. Bad math, I guess. But that's it. You know, they're out of everything. Like organic, they have 20,000. They're basically spitting out the tiniest little bits from the fertilizer makers, and they're running it up here, and they're rubbing it all over the blossoms. And that's the best they're able to do. It's not enough to keep them sustained indefinitely, but it is enough to keep them sustained probably again until cycle somewhere between, I'd say, like 1,700 and 2,000. So that's it. Like that's what happens. That's when you leave it alone for an entire weekend and then some. 56-hour time lapse, just absolutely insane. And there's obviously a whole lot more we need to do in the next update that we'll be playing very, very shortly. Let's go ahead and actually do this real quick. Let me open up the dev panel here, and I'm just gonna paint some dirt over all this stuff so we get our frames back and we can look around. Let's do this. 1. Okay, try again. 2. This is gonna get rid of all the plants and of course all the crap on the ground. 3. 4. Spacebar. Bam. All right, now we could actually see everything. Now, we want to take inventory there first. But yeah, also I should point out that the temperature's been maintaining in there just fine. On top of everything else, it's just absolutely crazy. It's crazy. 70 degrees, it's chill. It just took care of itself, man. Just took care of itself. Over here, this room is blazing hot. 140 degrees. Wow. God, Anonymous, what are you doing in there? That's it. Yep. So... a very interesting experiment. 1,000 cycles. 1,000 cycles that we went through, and they're still surviving. If it basically just means I could have gone on indefinitely at the number of people that I was supporting, number of dupes I was supporting. They would have just gone about their lives, and I could have expanded and spread throughout, and added more things, and probably added some more dupes. So let's see what happened in the agriculture update. I might have to push it a little bit by just adding like as many dupes as possible to really kind of push the difficulty. But I could have sustained this with 30 something, probably 40 for quite some time. Especially now that I know that a room full of hydrogen will hold it for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cycles. Just hundreds of cycles. I mean, look, just getting rid of all this stuff, I still have 520 bars. Because they're all in here. Oh man, how crazy, how crazy. Well, that's it. That is my Oxygen Not Included time-lapse. Thank you everybody for watching. My name is Mike B, aka Phony. This is again Oxygen Not Included. And I'll see you guys later.